Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order. Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with flexibility. We had this application for county assistance from Bennett County funeral cost. And then we Marshall Tenant letter support up. Right below the February 5th.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Marshall,
No, it's here. February 5th.
Motion to approve the minutes is printed.
Second.
we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Marshall Tenant, letter of support.
Good morning. I am Marshall Bennett. I'm a Todd County Commissioner. I'm here on behalf of the Todd County Commissioners. We are working with a consulting firm out of Washington, D.C., and we're trying to get access to some federally earmarked funds, congressionally directed funds. So as part of that process, where we are in the process is we're building our application. I've been hosting meetings all throughout Todd County in different areas of the county to get input and get broad public support for what we're trying to get done. And just basically they're advising me as how to go about building this application to make it most likely to be funded. So we're also seeking support from the Millette County Commissioners and the Bennett County Commissioners as we share, county line roads with you guys, and that'll help to boost our application as well. So that's why I'm here today. I have this letter prepared here that should we read it or?
I would.
Sure.
Yeah. You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Dear Senator Rouse and Senator Thune, as the Bennett County Board Commissioner, we write you in strong support of congressionally directed spending requests submitted by Todd County for the procurement of the gravel to resurface key roadways. This one-time federal funding will enable the county to carry out actions described in its highway and bridge improvement plan to rehabilitate and revitalize its roads. This features the rehabilitation of the highways, feeder roads, and neighborhood streets that enable the safe movement of people and goods throughout the community, enabling access to essential services such as food, healthcare, and education. As you and your staff know, Todd County is one of the poorest counties in the United States. This project will have wide reach benefits across the county. It will greatly improve safety, accelerate emergency response, decrease commuting time to work, and enable the county to attract economic development, not to mention making it safer and easier for kids to go to school. This project, federal nexus, is a straightforward as it is profound. It will help abolish U.S. DOT's goals of ensuring roadway safety for all Americans. By rehabilitating its roads, Todd County will make travel throughout its borders safer for citizens. For all these reasons, the Bennett County Commissioner strongly supports the Todd County Congressionally Directed Spending Request. We greatly appreciate your serious consideration of this county request and your staff's hard work in securing this one-time funding. That's it. I make a motion to approve letter of support for Todd County.
Yeah, I would second that. Sounds good, yeah.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thanks,
Good
Mark.
luck.
You bet.
Hopefully
Yeah.
it works out.
Can you have, the lady at the treasurer's office make a copy for me?
Sure. Yep.
Thank
No
you.
problem. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll let you guys know how it goes and if these guys can get us, we're asking for $5 million, so if they can get it rounded up for us. They're not cheap, but they seem like they're really good, really know what they're doing, so
Yeah, sounds good.
stay in touch.
Be happy to learn, I guess, how it works for you guys and if there's potential here as well.
You bet.
Very good, thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Marshall.
Can the public get a copy of that letter by chance?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Claims?
I did, and I just put it in. Mary, did you ever get a hold of the hospital regarding the one? Yes, and they took it off. Perfect.
Good job. Thanks, Marshall.
So now we're 16,500.
That's gonna be a separate deal.
16,500 off of, what was the original amount? 18,000?
Yeah.
I just had some questions, like, so the Bennett County booster, they charge us for like doing all our mint and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
What's our budget for that annually, roughly? Is that in here? Okay.
And it would have been for the minutes, and then also for, I think we had one subscription for the booster, and then I'm not sure if the advertising Yeah, it would
And
have come
then,
out.
well, Code of Times, we have that on there as well, so they're publishing as well.
Fallon is the highway super.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
so that would have
for that
been,
position.
yeah, so it would come out of highway.
Yep, 201 fund, okay. Okay, thanks. Are there any next month in here that are like the road work this month, or anything? You know,
Better
for
than-
any, like road work done this month, is there anything?
Yeah,
There
there's
should be
some.
one in with the Josh.
These bills we got to pay to then, or
These are since the last meeting.
this one and this one?
Well, those are all part of that one, so that's it. That's the total. So they're all together. These are all together.
So we'll make, this is the grand total.
Yep.
Yeah, I know, I've seen that. This is busy.
What we got?
County one.
One person?
I think you start charging one.
This will be a separate deal, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve,
Have a motion, have a second.
Yep.
All in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
But you, on these deals, you get to vote as well, right? So if I vote nay, then it still passes, right?
Right.
So we'll vote nay. That's what we'll go.
no, I don't.
Yeah, we're, just like,
Cause he
Oh,
gets,
yeah.
chairman can always vote in the commission meeting.
public comment.
At your last meeting, Lou, you were gonna get back to me with some numbers. You said that on average, Josh Whipple, charges the county $30,000 monthly for road blading. And you were gonna get back to me with a number of how many miles that $30,000 would get us of road blading.
I didn't get that for you yet.
Excuse me?
I didn't get that for you yet.
Okay. So there's an easy answer to this question. Looks to me as though Josh Whipple Road Trucking did $28,000 worth of work for Bennett County in the month of February, with the claims coming in, 28,000, which is very close to your 30,000. So maybe you could tell me how many miles of road that they covered with that 28,000.
Matt, do you know how many miles you covered?
Nick did all of western Bennett County. And Taylor did all of Harrington, all of south of Detail, all of north of Detail, clear up to Black Pipe. So miles, a bunch.
So 80% of the county?
You did not do that one. What's that?
I don't know, 70, I'm just rough guessing.
I bet pretty close.
And that was for the total of 28,000. That covered that entire 70-80% of the county.
Yeah, whatever the bill was for that month, that's all we did was blade.
How many days of blading took place in that month?
I have no idea, I haven't seen the bill.
You approved the bill, but you didn't see the bill? Is there a signature on that bill of somebody that approved it?
We did all of that in 5 days.
Probably not.
Next week, 2 weeks.
Interesting.
I'd say about 15 days.
So you had mentioned the Scomp Road at the last meeting. You had apparently named it my road. So on that road, it consists of 3.5 miles. The north mile of that road, I'm very concerned with the way that they bladed it. The south 2 miles were very good, but the north mile are still, like, most of the gravel didn't even make it off the shoulder of the road back into the center. So I'm curious, is somebody approving these bills, and who is signing off on the bills and approving it? Like 70-80% of the county for $28,000, that's some traveling. And not only that, but it was in the month of February, and the way it looked to me, there was about 3 days that could have actual blading in February.
February, January.
I think 2 of those were from January. They came in like the day before the commission was meeting,
Okay,
so
So-
they didn't get put on there.
let's talk about the total bills so far. So far, you just approved the claims. You have approved $103,000 worth of claims to be spent out of the highway department. $103,000. We are 2 months into the year. $54,794 in January, and an additional $48,754 in the month of February, for a total of $103,000. That is a total of 14% of the budget used to date. 14%. Now in January and February in the highway department, very little work is actually taking place. There's been very little good weather for blading roads. There's been very little moisture. And I'm betting we haven't burned very much diesel fuel. So my concern is, if you spent $28,000 in road grading in the month of February, what are we going to do when we get to the summer months, when there's actual road blading that can be done? When actual road graders can dig into the dirt and actually pull it across the road and bring the gravel back up. If we spent $28,000 in the month of February, $30,000 is a drop in the bucket of what we're going to spend in April, May, June, July. You're at 14%, and you guaranteed us that you would be $100,000 under budget.
I didn't guarantee that.
No, but you estimated,
You're
excuse me.
5 minutes up.
My wording is wrong. I do have more questions if somebody'd like to yield me some
I'll
time.
yield my 5 minutes to Judd.
Thanks, Chase. So I'll move on from the highway department. So the newspaper stated in their newspaper article 2 weeks ago that there was an error with when you guys took the Lakota Times out as being an official newspaper. And the newspaper, the Bennett County News, printed the actual law that states that and basically said that there can be more than one official newspaper. So I guess I would like to see the Lakota Times be added back onto that list of official newspapers with the Bennett County News. I believe it's set up to 3, is that correct? So Jay, I'd like to see that added back on if you could get that on the agenda.
Sarah, we're
please.
supposed to have one or just one, isn't it?
You can have up to 3. You
You
don't
have
have to, but you can.
Is there requirements to be called the official newspaper?
There are certain requirements that they have to meet in order to be eligible
So
I don't
The
know
actual
if they
law
need
is
it or
listed in the Bennett County newspaper. She printed the law, if you'd like to look at it.
okay. Do you feel that the Lakota Times meets that?
I would have to check, I don't know if they do or not.
I think at this point, I'd just like to do some research and look into that.
I appreciate it. Yep. I just wanted to bring it back up, so.
Yeah, I think it would be beneficial if possible. I just want to make sure that our T's are crossed and I's dotted on that.
So is there any way we could get an update? Like, I'm wondering if we can get an updated number of your estimate on the highway department, because I really don't think $30,000 worth of blading is gonna cover Bennett County when the weather actually turns nice. And I guess the last thing is, I never got an answer from your last remark, so I'm just giving me an extra reminder, I guess. So I appreciate it.
An answer?
I'll bring one again next meeting.
Anyone else? Moving on. Linda Waddell, freshman impact.
Morning. I'm here with CORE, or also known as Freshman Impact, a program that is put on through Bennett County High School, or via Bennett County High School. And I'm here trying to raise some donations for this program. It is a nonprofit organization, and this is put on for our freshman youth through the high schools around here to show them the consequences of distracted and drunk driving, high driving, mental health situations, social media situations, and just trying to see if you guys would be willing to donate to this program to help our youth in this program as we put it on. It's going to be put on April 10th here. It's a yearly program that is put on, and I just was wanting to
This
see
is
if
where
the
other
county.
schools come in too, correct?
I'm sorry.
Other schools come in?
Yes. This year we have Phillip, Kadoka, Crazy Horse, and Martin
They all come to Mark for this event?
for this event.
And then it's also a joint effort between some law enforcement agencies as
Yes,
well, right?
law enforcement. They come in, they help put everything on as either group leaders or showing the stations. There's 7 different stations.
I think we're Bennett County and the tribal also. That we
Tribal,
together.
Jackson County will be down here. We try to get some of the park police down here. Highway Patrol. We've had some of Rosewood RST officers over here. And they all help in this. We get a bunch of local people that also help with the, as group leaders, taking the kids through each station. Our local state's attorney also is part of that, because we also do a court case in there. And so she is going to be our state's attorney this year for that. We also get a judge and a defense attorney, and do this as it's an actual deal, because there's a put on a play at the end of the deal, or a skit, I should say, where there's a wreck, there's a death involved, and it generally involves alcohol, just to show them the consequences. We go through the arrests, ambulances, fire, anybody else that comes in as first responders. Then we go through a court case. We also have the funeral home that comes in, shows them, and we do the whole gamut. So, I mean, we're just trying to show the young people early on the consequences of what.
That's a big day.
It's a big day. It's a very big day. And it's a very, if done right, it's a very impactful program. And it's done at least across the western half of South Dakota.
Have we donated to this before?
To my knowledge, no.
What amount are you seeking? You have a dollar amount?
I was just able to speak to him not too long ago. And to answer your question, he was saying an average is anywhere from 200 to 250 on an average.
Okay. What do you guys think about something like that? I think it's a great thing for our community. It brings a lot of people into town, and it's great for the kids. Can we do, as far as a budget item, do we pull out of our commissioner and contingency? What would that come out of?
What's it gonna be used for?
It is used to fund the program, And also, for all of our volunteers, like I said, it's a nonprofit organization, so then we have to feed our volunteers. The students are all fed via their schools. They bring their own lunches and whatnot. But we have anywhere from 100 to 120 volunteers for that day. And so we have to feed everybody and hydrate everybody. So it's food, water, our drinks, and also to fund the program because there are t-shirts or hoodies that are given out as for certain things in the program to the students. Any of the advertising that they have to do, driving, fuel, I mean, just to fund the whole program is what this money is put towards. So.
It is a positive economic impact, plus what the kids learn and everything. I mean, that's
Yes.
great for the community. Do you see any concerns there with us giving some money for something like that?
So it's a big day. Obviously, there's a lot of, I help, so I put in my time, which you guys are paying me for my time. All of our law enforcement that help, you guys are paying them for their time. So the county is already donating quite a bit as pay for that, I understand.
Yeah.
But are there any schools donating? Are there any other counties donating?
As on the other counties, I cannot answer that because as a local coordinator, I'm only worried about Bennett County because, and Rick McPherson is who had set up the program and it brings everything down. He hits a lot of them other places. As I grow and learn more about this program, I will assist him in doing some of that with the other schools that are coming down. Now, Crazy Horse, because of being a school on the reservation, is able to get federal funding, and so they do pay for their students to come down. But without us being able to get that type of federal funding to be able to put towards this, then we try to assist the schools in getting this to come down. So
Is it always gonna be in Bennett County then?
this one is. There's also one over in at Lakota Tech where they bring in other schools around Pine Ridge, Kyle, and those. There's one in Todd County the day before ours, and they bring in from the other counties. So they try to get a centralized area and do it to bring everybody to.
If this is something you guys decide to do and you do give the money, can we get a receipt for what it's used for? So if it's used for purchasing drinks or food or that, is that something that we can get?
I will do my best to make sure that can happen. I mean, I can't say 100% on that, but I would, when I give the money to him, I would express to him the concerns on that so that you guys can show that also.
Yeah, we could ear tag it towards something, try to like water for the kids or something to help support the program.
All of the schools send lunches for their own kids.
Correct.
And Bennett County, they feed their own kids.
Correct. They bring them a sack lunch.
It's just the volunteers.
The volunteers and the staff that are on.
I don't know, I think it would be a good thing. Do you guys have a dollar amount that you think you'd be okay with? And maybe you're tagging it towards water for everybody.
Water,
What amount are you guys thinking?
I'm thinking 5.
That's kind of exactly what I've written down. So I would make a motion that we give the program $500 for water and support of the volunteers, staff, and everything, and kids for the program to take place in Bennett County.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
All right. Thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Kenny Fox, resolution for EID pay.
Yes, thank you for taking time to listen to me. This resolution has been passed in 13 other counties, which several of them border Bennett County, Millette County, Todd County, Jackson County, Hawken County, Pennington, Meade, Butte, Harding, Perkins, Zebach, and I probably missed some. But when this federal rule was first advertised in the Federal Register, there were several comments made to that, approximately 2,000 or more comments. Roughly 90% were opposed to this rule, and they still went and did it anyway. Now, we're not against people using electronic ear tags if they want to do that. Some people get confused on this resolution. We've had some problems in some commissions and we had to bring it back. So, I don't know if you all have a copy of this resolution.
I don't think we do.
I sent one. That's it right there. Basically what all the other counties have asked for. I do know that when this rule was first implemented, that the sale barn out here had trouble getting electronic tags. And Joe Wan was quite concerned, and there's an article in the November 9th Tri-State News about that. Now, I don't know where that's at today, but I do know that USDA has run out of funding for these electronic ear tags. So producers are being forced to use these tags when they bang vaccinate their heifer calves, which this rule really does not apply to. It's supposed to be 18 months of age and older. So there is some confusion there. The cost of these tags are running about $2.50 to $3 per tag per animal. And that is a cost that we have never had to do before. When we use the metal tags, we could, they were furnished by USDA. Also, South Dakota has a state law that was passed in 2022 that says we can use multiple forms of official ID, which is the metal clip tags like the bank tags. And of course, we can still use the paperback tags if cows go directly to slaughter. Our state has ignored that law, and we are in contact, the stock growers are in contact with Marty Jackley to see what we can get done there. We have got collected signatures, around 30 pages of signatures that are opposed to this federal rule. There's also a lawsuit that's being brought by New Civil Liberties Alliance, an organization that's opposed to the administrative rule process. They've taken on a similar case for the fishermen, and they won that at the Supreme Court last summer. It was called the Chevron deference case. And that, as I understand it, that case allowed for administrative rule process. The court called it unconstitutional because they're not elected people that do these things like you guys here. You're elected boards and you respond to the people. So we are hopeful that this case could end up in the same result. Now, it will be heard in Rapid City. We just amended the lawsuit and refiled it yesterday. So USDA has 14 days to answer that. They claimed we didn't have standing, and we proved that we do. We are producers. We are affected by this rule, and we're just asking for help to bring more attention to this. Excuse me. And it's been going over very well. In fact, we got, Brown County was another county up at Aberdeen that passed this just the other day.
I seen them on the news the other day.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we got some of our biggest counties that are on board with us, and we just hope that, I thought this would be brought up here a long time ago, but it didn't, somehow it fell through the cracks. So I would appreciate your help on this issue, and I thank you very much for your time.
What exactly are you asking for us to?
To pass this resolution with the wordings that's there. I can get you other resolutions that have been signed by other committees or commissions.
Are those resolutions exact to this?
99% of them are.
Okay.
The only difference that Pennington County has is that Senator Rounds has introduced a bill that would prohibit the Secretary of Agriculture from mandating electronic ear tags. And they put that in their resolution. Otherwise, the wordage is very similar.
That was in Pennington County.
Pennington County, yes.
And is this something that we could take up at the next meeting? Would that be enough time so that we could have time to review and
Draft one.
And then you have to.
Sure, I mean, you can use that
With the next one.
if you want to, it's up to you,
So
whatever you feel comfortable with, I'm.
that's what I would recommend that we do, is do a review, and then we have the intention to take action at the next meeting.
Okay,
And then the public has time to read through this as well, and voice any concerns.
concerns, you bet. Would you like me to send you copies of the signed resolutions from the other counties?
I think that would be good if you could.
I think I
Forward
sent
those.
a couple to Mary, when I asked to be on the agenda.
If you send them to Mary, then she can get them to me.
There we go, Mary. That would be great.
And I didn't send them all because they're very much similar and I didn't want to clog up your
Sure.
email service, but if you want them, I can sure do that for you.
I don't even know if all of them, but a couple anyway, just to, yeah, thank you.
And I think there's other counties considering this across the state too. It's just a matter of getting someone to go do it. Right, right. And I want to express that it does not prevent anyone from using electronic tags if they want to use it. Right. I think it should be voluntary because there are some producers that get benefits from it, let's say NHTC program, and if this becomes fully mandatory, which USDA says they want to make it that way on all cattle, then those premiums go away. So it's an economic factor in more than one way. Right. And,
I mean,
I don't
on the
think-
top, I would be in support of it, you know what I mean, but I wanna get input and feedback and that sort
Oh,
of thing,
certainly,
so,
I
yeah.
understand that. When I presented this at Jackson County last fall, it was right after election. Well, I wasn't able to attend and I didn't know what they did. And they passed it without anyone there. Because I saw our chairman a few days later at a fireman's meeting and I said, well, what did you guys think of that resolution? Oh, we passed it. So, you know, a lot of you, I don't know this commission, how many of you are cattle producers, but there's a lot of people that are very concerned about this issue and they do not want it mandated.
I think I've kind of heard a little bit of talk about it, and the same thing, that's been the consensus that I've heard producers say, so, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kenny.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Continue.
Lead date and budgets.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Donovan and Yonner. I begin with a question, and I want to ask you about the budgets. You know, in 2023 and 2024, the county budget was overspent. What safeguards have you considered or put into place so that this doesn't happen in 2025 and down the road? Have you considered that? Have you considered, you know, a monthly check? You know, obviously you get the reports, but when a line item is close to being at zero or even going into the negative, how are you going to respond?
I guess personally, it's gonna be, for me, it's gonna be to try to stay within budget, of course,
Okay.
as much as possible, and try to keep an eye on the budget, like, as we go through the year. I know that sometimes it's not completely realistic because it is a budget and not actual, right? But it is a goalpost that we try to meet, and for me, would be to try to meet that goal, to keep it where it's budgeted.
Thank you for sharing that you'll keep an eye on it and that it is a goal that we want to meet.
That I will try to do, yes.
I believe it's not, sorry.
I feel that we're kind of in it together too, and if we all kind of look at it together and you know, work on it, I would like to have help on it as well.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I believe it's not an experiment. It's a foundation that we can use to build the services and provide the help this county needs. And you know, in 2023 and 2024, there were certain line items that not only went to zero, but they went below zero. And then when these line items were in the negative, the county went ahead, the commissioners at that time went ahead and spent further into the negative. Now, I'm new to this county, I'm not a commissioner, I'm just learning here, but That's a great concern as a member of the public, because we're gonna have a rainy day. And we need to have the funds available to pay for those rainy days. Now, in 2023, in 2024, you took money out of the general fund. And I understand those funds are federal and local taxpayer money that basically came into the county. But if we tap those funds every year, how much is going to be left? I don't think that overspending a line item like what's happened in the past 2 years should qualify for use for the rainy day fund use.
Can I interrupt you for a minute?
Sure.
It goes further back than 2 years.
I'm sorry?
It goes further back than 2 years.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Donovan. So how far back does it go?
Both ways.
Okay.
We're kind of getting into some territory that could end up being a lawsuit. I would just caution you on what you say.
Sounds good, thank you.
So in 2023, you passed a resolution, you put about 500,000 into the budget to cover the shortfall. And you did something similar in 2024. And so maybe you think that that's the end of the matter. But I suspect that you are aware that that's not really the end of the matter. I've been looking through the County Commissioner's Handbook. And one of the things it points out is that county officials shall be liable when they exceed the amount in the budget. So my question, not for you to answer today, right now, but just to consider, is how and when are you going to pay that $1 million back to the Bennett County Treasury? I have a copy of that law. It's actually from the County Commissioner's Handbook. And it does say that county officials shall be liable. So I talked briefly about overspending, about reimbursement of that $1 million. And the other issue that I just want to bring to your attention is that I am really concerned about county bankruptcy. So let me give you some numbers. Okay, past 2 years, we overspent the county budget by $1 million. I don't know how much is in the general fund. Let's say it's maybe $4 million, okay? So if we continue this trend, then in 8 years, that general fund will have this much money in it. And if we have a rainy day, like, we need to replace a building, we have a tornado, we have a lot of snow that requires a lot of plowing, where are we going to get the money to pay for that rainy day? And if we have that rainy day and our spending continues and we don't have the funds in our budget, how are we going to pay for police protection, for snow plowing, for blading? How are we going to pay the employees who work for the county if we don't have the money? So you can tell that I'm concerned about bankruptcy. Again, I'm new to Bennett County, so I'm learning about the rules here. But I would ask you to consider these questions. Can you say to the public that you will not overspend the 2025 budget? Can you say that to the public?
No.
Okay. And my other question is, have you looked around the room here? There are lots of smart people in this room. Will you use the intelligence and the resources at your disposal to make sure that Bennett County doesn't go into bankruptcy? Thank you very much.
Question. Do you know of any county ever going into bankruptcy?
I know of counties that no longer exist because, I don't know if it was bankruptcy, but they could not pay their bills. And the one that comes to mind is Washable County. That's now part of Jackson County. That was taken over by Jackson County. So I don't know the exact reasons why that happened, but I know it had something to do with finances. I can look into that if you'd like and give you some more information.
I was just curious, I guess.
All right, thank you very much.
Automatic supplement for EM budget. Must be emergency management. Is that you, Jeff?
Yes, that's just, what'd you buy? We paid for something and this is a grant to replace it.
So we just redid our natural hazard mitigation plan last year. We got a grant, paid $7,500 of that. We did the soft match. And so we had to pay Black Hills Council of Local Governments who wrote the new plan, $7,500. And then we got reimbursed $7,500 from the state, which is FEMA money, but it goes through the state. And that's the $7,500 I think that this is talking about.
Just an update then.
We need to do a motion to do the automatic supplement.
Motion.
A second.
All in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thanks, Jeff.
Old and new business, Commissioner cards, breaker box.
I got some old and new business. How come these contracted blades, they should be turning in a timesheet of every day with the project right down to the hour? Whenever we had that major blizzard, I had emergency help come in and they couldn't get a check out of the county until they had a detailed list down to the hour of what they did. But we have contracted blades for $360,000 a year without any detailed list of every day. That was state law, I believe. Another, in new business, I'd like to put forward, going forward, can't we get a simple GPS system to put in these blades for 30 days to see what they're doing? That would cut down to the nitty gritty. That would tell you exactly where they're at, how many miles they're doing, and what road they're on.
I think some of that was, like the highway secretary was doing some of that, and that was a requirement of the highway secretary, right? To do those reports and to get that funding. Is that how that worked?
For the blades on the contracting, any help coming into Bennett County should have a project number and an hour they're
Supervision, yeah, I mean.
on the road.
Which we know Josh was put all that down.
Is it being handed in with the bills?
I guess I've never seen it.
There should be a time card for every day. Thank you.
What's the commissioner?
On the commissioner cards, that was something they wanted to listen about. Kind of like,
Yeah, so that's something that the city council does, and I feel it's a really good card. It kind of gives you the committees, information for the public, that sort of thing. It's a tool that I use, I guess, also just to see what boards I'm on, committees, things like that. If I want to contact a fellow.
you pretty much kind of wanted, like, say somebody had a bunch of cards and you could give it out to.
Yeah, so if it was
if
at
somebody
the
had questions, they could give it.
auditor's office, we would have our information on that card with committees and phone numbers. Are you guys opposed to something like that, I guess? The city goes to the booster and has those made up. I guess I don't think the cost is very much, but I think we just wanted to be sure it was okay with everybody before we did something like that, I guess.
I'm sure you put Jolene's phone number on there.
Yep, Jolene needs to be on there front and center.
And then the breaker box, we'll just kind of table for later. We have one that keeps throwing. Anytime we run a space heater or anything, shutting off my computer or my printer. They come in and checked it all out, and they said they're gonna have to put in another circuit, I believe, but they haven't gotten back to me with a quote or anything. So,
There's only one outlet in that room,
And it's all in one.
and it's all on one end with extension cords, and I've been trying for years to get this.
So we just have it like that room is cold, so we have a heat issue where we gotta run a 1500 watt.
yeah, and then it's just too much. It's overloading the breaker.
It's good, yeah, it's good as long as we don't have a heater running though, so
Right.
is
After
there,
tomorrow will be warm, you won't need it.
yeah. So what do we,
But they're just gonna, I mean, he's gotta get back to me
He
with
needs
the
to give us
quote.
a quote and stuff of what it's gonna cost.
Kratos.
Travis.
Yeah.
That'll come on courthouse maintenance.
But we'll table that until we get to.
I guess my only question on something like that is it such a thing that there's something going on with the heat system that isn't, or has it always been that way? I guess, or is it always been that way?
Yeah.
It's always been that way. Okay.
All new business. State of South Dakota Department of Public Safety update on contact info.
So do you guys have a copy of this letter from?
Yep.
From the first person?
Yeah, so
So we have to designate someone as the person that can call in resources, say we have a big grass fire, who has the authority without talking to you guys for ordering whatever we need. All this stuff gets really expensive really fast. So Chris O'Brien has always been that before. I think with the way we worded it was whoever is Martin Fire Chief has that authority, which works out. Chris is Fire Chief again this year. So that's what they're asking for. I would recommend a couple of things that when we appoint this person, I think we should come up with some kind of guidelines. I know they have the authority to request resources, but they should understand how much they need to spend, how much they can spend without talking to this board. Slurry drops. What's a slurry drop now?
I spent over in Todd County this year on that fire at White River. I spent $2.5 million in about 4 hours dumping lats. I mean, and that was there was a big conundrum there because nobody really wanted to take ownership of it between the tribe and the county. And finally, after a few overheads and or over the hood meetings and things like that, it come out that it was started on tribal and the tribe took it. So the jurisdiction comes into play there too. So whoever's going to do that needs to know what's going on and have somebody, Blue, any of you guys that they can call and be like, hey, you need to get your.
Let me explain one other thing because that could be really scary. If we have a wildland fire that's huge and the costs get out of hand, if we turn that fire over to wildland fire suppression on the state level, they're, by law, they have to pay for the fire, to the fighting of the fire. I talked to Jay Wickham from Wildland Fire Suppression, and he said, so when we give the fire to them, then they work on finding grants that fund. There's a fire management assistance grant, but it has some guidelines on what qualifies and what doesn't. But anyway, Wildland Fire Suppression comes in, takes the fire, they assume financial responsibility for the fire. So I would be uncomfortable with somebody ordering $2.5 million worth of slurry drops, fight fire, without you guys knowing about it. So I like the idea of telling whoever we choose in this position, here's your guidelines. If you're gonna go over X, then you need to talk to commissioners before you do. So you guys at least know what you need. I also think that we might consider putting more than one person in that position. It doesn't say we can only have one. That way, if somebody's gone, then you can call somebody else that can make those calls.
Who would work on the guidelines? Would you do something like that?
I would if you want me to.
That would probably be better.
I'm going to talk to some of the commissioners about that individually to get your thoughts. I'll also research what other counties, if they have a guideline like that. So I can do that. But we can go ahead with the resolution, and whoever writes the resolution, there are some things that they want in that resolution. One of them is, what's the time frame for the resolution?
April 4th.
Chris did say he's willing to continue that role.
We have to do this before the next meeting. vote people on that resolution?
Probably.
April
If we're gonna go down to,
No.
so we can do it next meeting.
Next meeting work?
if that satisfies the deadline in the letter for the work. If it's not gonna work, let me ask. If it's not gonna work to do it next meeting,
It should.
but if it does ever get to that point, we could ask for an extension, and while it's our special agreement, it would be understanding that why we made that request.
I mean, we need to have a written resolution to approve if we don't have it yet, then we can't.
Our next
So-
meeting is March fifth.
Yep.
That should be.
And that's something you're willing to draft and get out to us, Sarah, is that how that works, or how does that work? For who drafts the
Jeff was
resolution?
gonna do it.
Jeff was gonna draft the resolution, and then Sarah would look it over, and then we would,
Let me see what I can find for a resolution. I've never written one before, but I have one to look at.
okay.
Do we have
We
one
good?
from last year, do you know?
I don't remember if we did a resolution last time. I don't remember if they required a resolution last time.
I was gonna say I could look for it.
That would be good.
So should we be making a motion to table this until next meeting then, Sarah, or are
We
we
wouldn't
just?
have to make a motion.
If we can just get it put on the agenda for the next
Put it on the
meeting.
agenda next meeting.
Postpone. Just postpone.
The law is designed so a bad wildland fire doesn't break Bennett County financially. $2.5 million in 4 hours, like he was talking. I don't know any county, well, maybe the bigger ones, that would just break them. Think of. So that's what the law is for.
You good on that, Jeff?
I am.
Thank you.
We got approved Jeff Cisco 80 EM and 20 DOE. And that's, we just make a motion on that.
Yep, and the approval on
Motion.
Motion, I have a second.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Posting of bridge structures.
I got an email, which I've got in here, that said, remember when they come down and told you about their bridge inspections, that they had a couple of bridges that needed posting? And they want confirmation that there are postings in place by the 21st February. Yeah, so I imagine just shoot this guy an email with pictures, probably put them on, yeah, that's Cody Oxley.
What bridge posting, I guess, what is a bridge posting?
It's a big yellow sign.
Okay.
It just, lets you know it's a drop off.
Oh, okay. We probably have those signs in place, or in stock, we just got to put them out. Is what it is? Okay.
Okay, we're gonna lean Roger on that.
Okay, now in the hospital. Sarah, she went and she investigated every one of those people that were on there. And we've gotten taken off the one that was not our responsibility, but the rest, we have arrest reports, so we are responsible for it. And all of the, I did put in the packet because there's names in here. You guys wanted to look through the arresting reports?
Yeah, there's your arrest reports and that kind of.
The elected ones, letters.
Oh. All right, so what is our budget amount for that line item, and where is it?
I did break it out to where it wasn't all blood alcohol, because it's inmate medical and the blood alcohol.
I did some work on this.
So the inmate medical would be $16,179.18. And then the blood alcohol would be $370. I guess I'm not sure where our budget line items are for inmate medical.
You can't control it.
What is the budget amount though, I guess, for that? Where's it? Do we have, you know what that?
Well, no,
No, that
because
was
she
not-
just give
that's
you a
just a-
summary,
Oh,
not
okay.
a completely detailed.
And they're not double billing us, like I found.
Yep, but I went back and took some of those off and. Like I said,
I mean, I think done our due diligence and looking into the costs, and it's something that is there. I mean, we have to. So what do we need, a motion to pay it then?
So I went back,
I know it was tabled from the last meeting, correct?
Correct.
So probably a motion to pay unless it was included in claims already. But otherwise, I would do a motion to pay it.
I make the motion to go ahead and pay the hospital bill as revised, and double check, I guess.
and just make sure we're not
With,
being double paid or double charged. Because I did find
Yeah,
2 months ago.
they went back in. So this is just for September, the month of September, December, and January.
Does the sheriff's department not look into this? Like, do they not follow
They,
and sign off on their bills?
they do.
So you got a motion?
I got a motion to pay it.
I got no second. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Floor scrubber quote.
So, yeah, this is just one I kind of reached out to get an idea of what a floor scrubber would cost. If they wanted, the county would want to have that for the courthouse. It's one that scrubs and lays out the cleaner and then squeegees it up behind it. We use this like at my store, and it's a huge asset for cleaning floors and stuff. And it could be a big help for the courthouse as well and maintaining the floors. It is a smaller unit so that it can get around desks and stuff like that, but they're not cheap. So I just wanted
This is AT30. That's what you're talking about.
the 18-inch walk behind auto scrubber. Yep. And this is just a quote, basically just to give you an idea of what you're looking at for a cost. I don't think anybody probably realizes a floor cleaner to cost $5,300. This is one that there's a lot of options on. This one's fairly simple, but it does have the auto, so it does self-drive. That's what helps the user. But it is a walk behind as well. 18-inch brush, so I feel it's small enough to get around in the offices, but not so big that you can't do the hallways and stuff. So it's just it would be beneficial to the courthouse to have something like that for maintenance and whatnot.
Does it take a special soap?
It kind of does, yeah. We use about a gallon of it. Like our store, we're covering about 8,000 to 10,000 square feet every 3 days. And since the store is open 6 months ago, I just bought my second gallon, and a gallon's maybe $8. So that's it's not very expensive. Yeah.
Have you had to replace your brushes?
I have not. I don't run this brush on mine so much. I run, it's just a polisher pad on it. And I'm pretty sure you put a polisher pad on this one. So, of course, your floors don't have any sealer or finished wax on them right now. Eventually, maybe that'll be the case. But
Can you use this to put it on wax?
no. You can use it in the cleanup application, like, so if you do like a strip clean or cleaning the floor or something, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's a dirty process. And people just normally use a shop vac to, it's easier to destroy $100 shop vac than use a $5,000. But if you use them just for cleaning, it's something that'll last a long time. And this will be probably something that'll serve the courthouse for the next 10 years easy.
You know if it's got a warranty on it?
Yeah, it'll be easy, I'm sure. Yep. And so this also comes from a lot of local as possible company out of Rapid City that people from Martin actually work for as well, Black Hills Chemical. And they support the product, sell the product.
Do they do maintenance on it?
You know, I think they probably would have staff. I'm not 100%, but yeah, they do rent these as well. But yeah, so I'm sure they would have staff to support that product. Yep. And they have a truck down here, I think, once every couple of weeks. So not only would it be delivered, but it would be support with like cleaners and stuff like that if needed. But I don't know, just something I want to propose. I guess we could.
How many gallons of water does that hold?
I think it said something around 9-10 gallons.
8 to 9.
And so how that would work is you put the cleaning solution in, you go do the floor, it would then get recovered in a tank, and then there is a mop sink that it would just get flushed down. Real easy to pull it, cleans out. It's a time saver too for your staff.
No lifting or anything like that?
Yeah, no, not really. They are handy. Big time saver as well. So
So we're gonna put that underneath the courthouse maintenance, or how are we gonna put that?
That's what it would be.
Or commissioner contingency, because courthouse maintenance, we didn't hold a budget on that.
I mean, Jolene, do you think this is something that would be beneficial to the courthouse?
I do.
We don't have that tool currently.
No, we don't.
I think we need to do it.
I mean, you'd be amazed at how you go and you mop that floor, and in a couple of minutes your mop water's already dirty and you're just slopping around dirty water. Where this here, one pass, it's clean behind the machine, and it's just a big asset. Would be.
So has it got like 2 tanks, one filters out and recycles the water?
No, it doesn't recycle. So you have one that's got the cleaning solution of water in it, and it's spraying out in front of the pad. And so that dirty water is behind, and then it's got a vacuum and a squeegee. So right behind it vacuums and squeegees that dirty water into a different tank that you can then dump. So it's got 2 tanks. And I'm not saying you have to buy this one. Maybe you guys want to look into some other ones. Maybe look into the option of it. This is just the one that kind of through the other options I felt was dollar-wise and size-wise and everything was a pretty good middle of the road type unit.
I've never ran one, so.
You're ready to try. Yeah. And it's something we can just go ahead and, I would recommend maybe, I don't know if we're tabling a lot of stuff, but maybe table it to the next meeting and see if there's any questions you guys have through it or something, I don't know.
How you trust your judgment, Jay? I'll make a motion to approve this program.
What budget area would we take it out of, I guess?
Probably have to pull out the contingency. Because courthouse maintenance ain't gonna happen.
I'll second it. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Highway superintendent secretary.
Well, we can't do that because
I guess that one really, yeah, I mean, I had that put on there, my thing was just so that we keep it at the forefront, do we get applications?
we got 2 applications we can do right now.
Do we want to set like we just keep that on there until, or do we set up interviews, or what is our?
Let's wait until our 2 weeks is up, see what we got. and then
Wait till
set
2
up.
weeks, okay. When would our 2 weeks be up?
Mark, the next meeting.
Okay, so then maybe revisit it then?
Yep.
Okay, I guess that's all I had that put on there, so.
Okay. Executive session personnel.
Did you put that on? Did you put that on?
Well, with there with our secretary, just in
Oh.
case you needed it, so.
Executive session, cybersecurity.
I'll make a motion to go to executive session for cybersecurity 1-25-2, parentheses 6. Jeff, who you all want in here?
Sarah, Jason.
That should be good.
Oh, Mary, too.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. We are in executive session at 2:41. We are back in at 10:58. There will be no action taken.
I'll make a motion for executive session for legal 1-25-2, parentheses 3.
We have a motion.
Hang on.
Oh,
I'm not for sure. You know, Sarah?
I don't have my stuff with me, sorry. Actually. 3.
Three.
Yes, 3.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? We have a second. All in favor, signal by saying aye. Oh, who do you want in here?
Just commissioners and Sarah.
And
Mary.
okay. All in favor, signal. Okay. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. We are now in executive session at 10:59.
But not very optimistic, this close.
We are back in at 11:17.
I make a motion to postpone the funeral reimbursement until we get further information.
That's your motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. We are now adjourned at 11:17.
So, I don't think you do. I'm not sure.
What's up?
We voted on that.